I pull up, dropping buckets. Yeah, like it's nothing. In the kitchen, chopping onions.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Sports Podcast. I am your co-host. This is the podcast where we just interview all the key players in the sport of real estate. We are on episode 7. And I'm so excited about this episode. This is my co-host, Eric. Eric, tell us who we're interviewing today.
Let's go, RE Sports. It's in the game. We have a very special guest. So if you're looking to skip all the small stuff from residential, flicks and flip, move all the way up to multifamily, this is the podcast for you.
Let's go.
We have a very phenomenal guest, Jaime Sanchez, a good friend of mine. We met in the space, been following his journey for quite some time. He's just passed over 100 doors, all here in Los Angeles, California. Once again, he comes from a great background, has a MBA at UCLA, and basically he's been studying real estate development, real estate value add, and they're scaling at a very high level. So if you're interested in investing, multifamily, real estate development, once again, this is for you. So without further ado, welcome Jaime Sanchez.
Hey, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Jaime, thank you so much for joining our podcast, man. 100 doors in Los Angeles. Big pockets, y'all. Big pockets. A lot of big pockets, right? But did you always come from money? Talk to me about the Jaime Sanchez that I'm looking at now, but like 20 years ago. What does that person look like, man?
Yeah, I mean, 20 years ago, I was just getting fresh out of college. So,
okay.
But it's reminiscent of actually what my life trajectory's been.
Yeah.
Just graduated college, Great Recession back in 08, 09.
Jeez.
And so there was no jobs. I was studying engineering construction management. I've done a couple summer internships. And by the time I was ready for a full-time job market, there was no jobs available.
Sheesh.
So I had to come back home, Echo Park, where I grew up, back at my parents' house, to rethink the strategy of what I was going to do in terms of where my life trajectory was going to go.
Wow.
And there's always a homecoming, to it again, right? So I grew up in Echo Park. Parents are still there.
Wow.
Oldest of 4 brothers. And so it was very reminiscent to go back to Echo Park right after college and figure out what were my next steps, kind of start fresh.
Yeah.
Brand new beginnings.
Sheesh.
And since then, been able to scale into the real estate space. But for me, my origins are very humble, working class. Parents immigrated from Mexico to LA.
Nice.
And so they both met in LA. They had me very shortly thereafter. And so, I've always experienced through my parents the value of hard work. And my dad was doing a lot of landscaping, a lot with my uncles. I had to go help them when I was like 10, 11, 12 years old.
Sheesh.
So out there raking leaves and mowing lawns early on.
Come on
So I was always touching real estate in a certain perspective, even when I was a young kid.
But it was mowing the grass.
Exactly. But then, as you start elevating and growing and start to understand things, my mind was always thinking about, like, what's next? How does this work? Who owns these houses? How does construction work and things like that? And so that's been my elevation throughout my career.
I love that. So what did you actually go to college for?
So I went to college in Cal Poly San Luis Obispo.
Okay.
I did civil engineering and construction management.
You couldn't find a job?
Couldn't find a job, man. It was bad.
It was bad.
economics.
Yeah, I
It was
know.
bad,
The
man.
market crashed. The banks had no money.
Yeah, exactly. All the construction projects went to a complete halt.
Sheesh.
Contractors weren't getting any gigs. And that's what I was studying. So for entry level, there was nothing there, even though I was preparing myself for it.
That's insane. So most people, when they graduate college, they're excited. And then in your case, there was no jobs for what you graduated for, right?
Right.
But you didn't let that stop you. You kind of pivoted. Talk to me about that. So after you graduated, there was no jobs. What did that look like for you? And how'd you freaking end up where you're at now?
Yeah. So I think that was kind of like the beginning seed of how entrepreneurship works. It's uncertainty, risk.
Yeah.
Pushing through, pivoting.
Yeah.
Right. At the time, I didn't know that, But whenever you're faced with an obstacle, a challenge, especially an entrepreneur and evolving into leadership, there's always seeing obstacles as opportunity, right? You know, my old mindset would have been, man, why me?
Right. Victim.
Why now?
Right.
Victim mindset, right?
Yeah.
And so there was a bit of that at the time, you know, just like, hey, man, there's no jobs. I'm just going to chill at home. But, you know, at a certain point, you need to elevate and grow and evolve. And then for me, it was just like, well, what was meant for me isn't ready for me now. I'm just going to pivot. So the good thing that I studied engineering was there was an electrical engineering company hiring someone in like a project engineer role to like manage staff and projects. And so when I interviewed and I applied, they were like, man, you're perfect. Come on board. And so this is a role in Pasadena.
Okay.
But then I grew so much. I was there 5 years. And then I touched all construction projects throughout Southern California. Wow. So whether it was a hospital or I worked at Disney Cars Land at one point,
really?
Universal Studios, the Paramount Pictures, big, heavy power plants. It was all through this electrical engineering construction lens that started opening my eyes in terms of the diversity of construction projects. And so, again, what becomes an obstacle becomes an opportunity into opening up my perspective of what's out there.
Come on now. Can you guys clip that? That was so good, man.
That
was really good.
Man,
Well, it becomes the obstacle, it becomes the opportunity.
Exactly.
What is an obstacle? Because a lot of people play that victim mindset.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
And then that is actually what stops them from growing. Like I've seen so many people with so much potential, but they just stay where they're at because they're comfortable.
Right.
You know what I mean? So talk to us a little bit about where you're at now, what you're building in regards of the space of real estate. And then I want to go back into that after and how the hell you got there.
Right.
Is that cool?
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah.
Let's do it. So now what we're building, we've crossed 100 doors in our multifamily portfolio here in LA.
Man.
So we're not talking about doing it somewhere outside of LA, right? This is in LA. A lot of regulations, tenant rights, capital intensive, right? It requires a lot out of us, but we're very proud of what we've been able to build in the last 3 years. We did this in 3 years.
No way. 100 doors in 3 years.
100 doors in 3 years because we shifted our mindset of what was out there in real estate. And then we just got laser focused. And, you know, obviously the work ethic has to be there.
Yeah.
But when you have the right strategy and then an implementation plan, man, you can just scale really quick. So for us, that's where we're at now, 100 doors. We're stabilizing our entire portfolio.
Okay.
There was a lot of construction, renovation over those last 3 years. But now we're getting everything leased up, growing our revenue pipeline, decreasing expenses where we can. And so as soon as I feel like we have a well-oiled machine with these 100 doors, the plan is to 3X.
Wow.
3X that portfolio. So our portfolio is a little over 40 million in assets under management.
Sheesh.
So the idea is to grow that to over 100 million.
Can I ask something? Because everybody's like afraid to be a landlord in Los Angeles, in California. Why did you choose LA? Because in your backyard, obviously, or was that just like organically? You know what? Let's just stay here.
Yeah, exactly. No, me and my business partner, we actually ventured out of state.
Okay.
I went to a mastermind in Texas, actually,
Okay.
to learn about apartment investing. But I just never got comfortable, given my background, construction, managing projects. I just didn't really understand the landscape out there, didn't understand the players.
Got it.
So I could never get comfortable buying something and seeing how we can transform it from what we bought to what it can be. Whereas being in LA, and I think that's really important for a lot of people to hear, is people, based on their background, whether it's family background, educational, or where they grew up, already have a competitive advantage because no one understands the surroundings better than where you grew up and what you understand, right? So I just knew LA really well, been living here all my life. I just have a competitive advantage of understanding the cross streets, this area, that submarket, having the right players, contractors, vendors, architects, engineers. So I pretty much had everything. It just required of me to be the entrepreneur and orchestrate it all together. So
Yeah.
it was just taking that massive action to make it happen. So
Yeah.
that's why I chose LA.
I get it, because you're the quarterback and you have all these other players, and all you got to do is draw it up
Right.
and execute.
Exactly.
Right?
RE Sports.
RE Sports. You know what I'm
Sports,
saying?
exactly.
Hey, you're a good quarterback at that.
Yeah,
You know what
exactly.
I mean?
I think
So-
that's a great analogy. You know,
Right.
it's just I had all the players, I just no one to lead them. So
Right. No, I get that.
That's where I came in.
Incredible. So you're like, F it, let's do it in my backyard. You're
Yeah.
not afraid of like tenants and like the tenant laws and all that.
You know, everything always becomes a challenge, right? And I think that's going to be the theme
Becomes-
of this. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity.
Opportunity.
And so the obstacle is tenants are going to be challenging in terms of being able to increase rents,
Right.
Dealing with maintenance issues, potential complaints, lawsuits.
Right.
There's a lot that can be, thrown at you. But the best way to learn is to start with what you can, with where you're at, right? And so maybe if you're in a single family or duplex, triplex, right, you're going to have to deal with tenants one way or another,
Right.
right? From there, you continue scaling and getting comfortable with all the challenges because they're all going to come up.
Right.
Every single one of them, from dealing with a potential eviction to dealing with a lawsuit. And so you're just going to have to get comfortable dealing with the unknown at some point or later.
Right.
And so you rather do it sooner than later, but just go at a pace where you feel comfortable with your skill set and your network to be able to manage those challenges.
Fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fire. Something I see that's very common, you and your partner scaled within the last 3 years to over 100 doors, but everything in your upbringing, where you've gone, everything you've gone through has kind of prepared you guys for that time.
Yeah.
I know you guys started off a little bit, starting off single family. Walk us through that. Like, what led you into doing big deals, multifamily, and what got you out the single family space?
Yeah, so our first deal was a single family deal.
Yeah.
And so that was our first deal. Me taking my corporate money in terms of all my savings, going in on a deal 50-50 with my business partner. And, again, going into the unknown, taking a risk, and seeing it as a challenge, making that an opportunity for growth, right? And so for us, that first deal, very, management intensive. It was a historical project. So it was labeled in City of LA as HPOZ, Historic Preservation Overlay Zone. So that means that there was a lot of protections in terms of how you renovate the property. And so we had to go through that with the city, dealing with the contractors. We're self-performing in terms of managing our own subs. And so there were just so many challenges, but there was so much growth that came from that first deal. Over the course of that challenge, you get to the other side after 12 months of getting beat up, and you're trying to, we were looking to sell it, and then the market dips, and then now there's no market to sell it to. And so at that moment, I came to a realization. I was like, man, that was a lot of work. And at the end of the day, we can't even sell this asset. And so what was it all for? Like, man, there's got to be another way to do this. This is too much risk for something that is, I'm forgetting the word, where you're guessing where the market's going to be. And so it'll
Kind
come
of
to
like
me.
foreshadow. Or
Yeah,
like
exactly.
try-
So it just became too risky for me. And for my business partners, like, man, there's got to be a different way to do it. I'm sure there's other ways to do it.
Yeah.
And so what it became was, you got to have more units that can cover the mortgage whenever the market's not there. And so that's why multifamily works. So the more units you're able to leverage, the more tenants are paying for that mortgage. So whether the economy is roaring or the economy is tanking, the fact is more tenants are going to be in a position to be able to pay rent, keep the building afloat while it's going through a downturn.
Right.
And so we went through that slight downturn in that very few months of the market. It took maybe a year to recover. Then we sold it. We broke even. But that's the lesson I got from that is, man, I got to go more units to remove that risk from the market.
I love that.
And you never forget your first.
Nah, exactly. exactly, man.
And it leads
So-
you to where you're at.
Exactly.
So, would you ever invest in single family again?
No, I would never invest in single family ever
Go
again.
into that. Why?
Because it's again, it uses all the skills and strategies that you can do in a big apartment building,
Yeah.
but it condenses it down to a single family, right? And so if you're starting out, right, buying a 100-unit apartment building is going to be quite challenging. Start with where you're at. A single family split will teach you all the skills to elevate and grow
grooming you
into the bigger projects. But for me to go from multifamily down to single family, unless I was doing like spec homes and selling them for like 10x, it would make sense. But even then, I go back to that first experience where if the market is not there when I'm done with this single family project, I don't want to be caught with the bag. I want to make sure my tenants are always covering my mortgage.
I love that.
That's
It
huge.
protects you. And a lot of our viewers, if you could just speak to them, a lot of our viewers are wholesalers, agents, fix and flippers. What's the difference, right, as far as like comps in the area where it's single family, you're subject to the comps versus almost like buying a business, multifamilies based on the revenue. Can you explain the difference to our viewers of the difference between like single family and multifamily?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think you make another great value point there. Something I learned over time. In single family, your comps are completely based on what's selling in that immediate area
Right.
at the time.
what your
you're
neighbor
selling
sells their
it.
house
Yeah,
for.
exactly.
Mile
So-
radius.
Exactly.
Yeah. Square footage.
Because it's not what's sold 10 years ago, right?
No.
It's what's sold within the last 6 months,
Right.
whatever it is, right? So again, heavily depending on what the market is doing when you're ready to exit.
Correct.
With apartment buildings are treated as businesses because you have rents coming in, that's considered revenue. You have expenses, taxes, insurance, utilities, maintenance, landscaping. Those are expenses. And you end up with net income. In commercial real estate, it's called net operating income.
You know why?
And all commercial real estate is evaluated on the net operating income. So if you have a really well-oiled apartment building, retail center, office building, and that net operating income is really strong, then that's how they evaluate based on a multiple. And so they use this thing called cap rate, which we can go over at some point in the future. But you just take that NOI, the cap rate, and that's your value of your
Correct.
building. And so as long as you're managing your net operating income as a business, revenue minus expenses, you could double, triple, quadruple the value of that same building in less than 2 years.
Can you tell us about maybe something that just wasn't managed correctly and how you added value to it and how you got like money out of it or valuation from it
Oh,
or
we're getting into
increased
the
that?
tactics
Oh, yeah,
already.
exactly,
I didn't play no
exactly.
games.
Yeah,
Get right
exactly.
into the tactics.
No, this is great. And so that goes
Hey,
back
we're
to our,
vibing.
I know,
Yeah.
go back to the strategy of why we love apartment investing is the exact question you have is a 24 unit we bought in Bowl Heights area in which the seller was losing the property to the lender. They were just in a lot of financial distress. And so I saw the opportunity through our broker. I looked at the deal. There was a great opportunity there to at least double the rents over time. And then in addition, there was so many other levers that can be pulled to, again, continue increasing the revenue of that property. We found out during escrow that there was a cell tower lease on top of the roof of the building.
Really?
So that was an additional $2,500 a month in rental
Sheesh.
income that we were generating in the building. That became known during the escrow process.
After you already negotiated
Yeah,
price.
exactly. Or negotiated price that increased the value of the building by
there.
$600,000, just right there. That
So
cell tower,
$2,500 a month increases your value by $600,000.
$600,000. Yes.
Real
So-
estate sports.
Yeah,
Come
exactly.
on.
That's sexy.
Wow.
Exactly. So the cell tower added value to the building. I knew we could add at least 6 ADUs to that project. So we did. We finished those 6 ADUs. That adds easily like 1 to 1.5 million in value to the building. We can double the rents. We could take Section 8 tenants that are in a substandard unit, move them into one of our renovated units, apply for a new voucher,
Raise the rent.
Raise
and
rent.
then the
And then
new
fix theirs.
voucher comes in at the max voucher. So they were paying maybe $1,000 a month under an unrenovated unit. Put them in a new renovated unit, Section 8, then reposition that voucher to $2,200 a month. So
Skin
Win-win.
sexy.
Exactly,
Skin sexy
exactly.
here,
Win-wins.
guys.
The tenant's happy because they got a fully renovated property.
exactly,
Section 8's covering it.
Yep.
You guys are happy because you up the rent.
exactly.
Win-
That's not it though.
Exactly.
Black.
Their unit becomes
Exactly.
their unit becomes available.
If you know, you know.
You
Yeah.
renovate their unit, and you just kind of rinse and repeat.
Exactly. It's like a musical chair strategy in which you take them from an
Phenomenal.
existing unit, put them into one of the renovated units and market rents. The old unit, you renovate it. Maybe there's another Section 8 tenant that wants to move into that unit, right? And you just kind of rinse and repeat
What's
that
this called?
strategy.
What's the strategy called? We got to coin something, man.
We just called them
Hey, musical chairs, bro.
Musical
Hey,
chair
musical
strategy.
chairs. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Musical chair strategy.
Yeah,
Coin
exactly.
it.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
like that. Yeah, my
Exactly.
mind is going. I'm
Yeah.
selling all my residential, bro.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
So you got Section 8 tenants, you got people at market rate tenants, you got ADUs, you got cell tower income. And so we got laundry income as well, managing the laundry units as well. That's
Just that
generates
same apartment.
same apartment building, does about $600 a month in laundry income. So again, all these levers you push on them. Bought that building for $3.6 million, so $150,000 a unit, 24 units, and it recently appraised for $7.5 million.
My God.
And there's
Instant.
still not more spread to make out of it. I'm pretty sure we can get that building to be worth over $9.5 million. So 3x in 3 years.
Yeah, take that, single family people. Yeah.
No, and deep diving further into that deal, because I think these are great examples telling these stories.
Yeah.
If you don't mind sharing the numbers, like what did you guys purchase it for? How did you guys, did you guys raise the money? Did you come in with the lender?
Good
Did
question.
And then
Yeah.
after that, did you guys, after you got the NOI you needed, did you refinance?
Exactly. So yeah, we've gone through that entire cycle over the last 2 years. So more than happy to talk about it. But we bought it for $3.6 million, $150,000 a unit. So in LA, that's a very good, aggressive price to get into an apartment building. And the way we structure our deals now is, and that's the other beauty about apartment investing, just like any business, is not all businesses are owned by just one person.
Yeah.
It's a coalition. It's a group. You think about the big corporations, the private equity groups. You got investors. It's done collectively, and so apartment buildings are no exception. So, us as the general partners, we're the ones leading the project, and we do what's called a syndication, in which we invite limited partners, investors, passive investors, to invest their capital into this building, and we formed a company for it. We formed an LLC. So just like they can buy Apple stock or Tesla stock or anything other stock, right? They can buy stock of
An elite group.
ABC Street LLC. And so that's what we're offering investors is an opportunity to be a partner, be a passive partner in all the benefits of real estate, which includes the appreciation, the cash flow, the depreciation.
Right.
They're
Tax
shareholder owners,
Wow.
just like
They get the
they were to
benefit
buy the building themselves, but they own a slice of it. So that's why I love this strategy, because you can scale this strategy as big as you want it.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so that's how we've been able to scale to 100 doors in 3 years, is because we take the syndication model. We invite investors to win-win, right? They want to place their capital somewhere in which they can
Cash
grow
flow.
their capital, right? And it's not just sitting in their checking account. We lock in the deals. We're finding the great opportunities. And that's how we create a great, valuable relationship together. And then throughout that process, right, it's just execution. Going back to my background, construction, managing vendors, managing the architect, managing the permitting process, getting those 6 ADUs approved, renovating. We renovated 10 out of the 24 units. We're currently renovating the entire exterior and interiors. But we put about $1.5 million into the deal. So 3.6, 1.5. We got most of the financing from a construction lender. So there's a lot of lenders out there that love these value add plays. And so they gave us like 80%
Wow.
of the value. So including the rehab.
Nice.
And so again, is the capital's out there from lenders that love these types of strategies, equity investors that want to place their money in real estate. And so again, being the quarterback, seeing the vision, materializing it in execution, And that's how we've been able to take it from 3.6 to 7.5 million.
And you guys refied.
We refied recently. That's how we knew it appraised for 7.5 million. So the new loan was 5.5 million, paid off all the other debt, and then we have about we have $1 million cash out event that happened from there. Our investors are going to be really happy with that $1 million cash out. Again, they start getting some of that principal back. Again, and they got the depreciation. Man, it's like I could go for days about all the
Interest.
benefits.
Yeah, take my money.
Tax free.
Yeah, take my money too.
Yeah.
Tax free.
Well, let me ask you though, for those people, because essentially this is kind of like the Grant Cardone strategy where he started a syndication and he buys, but a lot of what he buys are like Class A, like ready built. You're doing value adds. So are you looking for like Class B, Class C type stuff, or?
Exactly. I take Class C properties, even Class D properties, and I make them Class A properties. And
There you
so it requires a strategy and an execution, right? Again, I knew I had all the players. I just had to assemble it all together.
Yeah.
I know how to find the right deals
Right.
that are distressed, and there's an opportunity to create a significant amount of value. And so it's just putting all the pieces together. And so knowing that I can do that, that's why the appreciation is so insane. And on top of that, the cash flow,
Right.
once you take it from a Class C property and make it a Class A property.
Because your equity is your knowledge, your quarterback. It's
Yeah.
like being able to do all that and bring it to the finish line.
Exactly.
Their contribution is monetary. Yours is like, well, you can't replace me. Like I'm
Right.
the most valuable in this deal.
Yeah,
Right?
They're
Yeah.
making a wire, and you're doing all the heavy lifting. And
Exactly.
what I love about that model is you give others the opportunity, friends, family, people that
Right.
believe in you, maybe strangers, to invest and make good returns on their money. And all they have to do is essentially send a wire.
Pretty much. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You know, the idea was to enroll them into the vision of what we're creating, right? And so as an entrepreneur in the commercial real estate space, it's always about having that vision of where we're going, and then enrolling everyone around you to that vision.
vision.
And
So you had $1 million cash out. What do the equity partners do with that? Do they say just continue to roll it over? Some of them leave that in there. They can cash it out. Like how does that work in the partnership agreement?
Yeah, so in the partnership agreement, it's what's called a waterfall structure. So think about a waterfall, right? It cascades in and it ripples down all the way to the end, right? And so the first set of cascades.
Did you coin this?
No, it's actually
All
used in
Come on
commercial
now.
real
Hey,
estate.
musical
Learned it at
chairs,
UCLA.
waterfall. Come on now.
Chairs, waterfall.
Come
I like
on,
that
man.
analogy, though.
Yeah, so it's a waterfall structure. So the first set of cash flows is, depending on how it's structured, in this case, it was returning capital back to investors.
Okay.
So the first dollar that comes back goes back to them
Got it.
until they've gotten all their money back.
Wow.
And their interest.
And they're,
Insane.
Yeah,
So you
exactly.
prioritize the investors first before anybody else does anything.
That's the way that deal got structured. And so once they get all their money back, then it goes into the next phase, which is called profit splits. So you got your money back. Now we split it, call it 50-50.
Gotcha.
50% of me, 50% of you guys. These are all the profits that we get to split moving forward.
So Jaime, you get paid less.
Yeah. But that's on the profits.
Got it. Okay.
One of the other beautiful things that I discovered from single family to apartment investing is that single family, it's very difficult to make it a business unless you're at scale,
Right.
You have to have a lot of single families to make it a business. With apartment buildings, it's a business on its own already.
Got it.
And as a business on its own, there's always an operator that needs to run that business. So you need to pay the operator to run it.
Gotcha. I see what you're saying.
And then also, there's a lot of acceptable fees that us as operators are allowed to charge the project for all the work we do. So
Makes
there's
sense.
an acquisition fee
Right.
for finding the deal and striking and negotiating a great deal. So that gets charged up front. So we get paid up front. We get paid through all the fees we collect from managing and executing the project.
This is so good.
And so that's how we get paid during the deal execution phase of it, because you got to pay someone to do it. So because this is a business. And then we get paid during the cash flows as well. Once the money starts rolling in, it's cash flowing. You know, the way some of our deals are structured, 50% to the limited partners, 50% to us. So even we get paid through the cash flows. and then finally the profit split. So we get paid beginning, during, end.
He said, homie, I get paid, baby.
There's nowhere. Yeah, because at the end of the day, we're the ones execute on the business
Right.
plan, finding the deals, we're raising
Dealing
the
with the
capital.
stress.
Yeah, dealing with the stress. We're signing the loan guarantees with the lenders, right? The limited partners, all they do is send a wire. Yes, they're taking a risk in that their capital's at risk,
Right.
but we're building credibility and trust that we're the right operators for their capital.
I want to talk about like partnerships, if that's okay. Eric and I have gone through the gutter together.
Yes.
I'd like to say.
Yes.
Everybody has.
Yeah.
If you're in this level, you will. Everybody will.
Right.
100%.
So that's the reason why I'm so proud of my partner and who he's become, and he's seen me grow as well. How
Right.
did you choose your partner, and what makes a good partner?
Yeah, because real estate is a sport.
Yeah.
How'd you
exactly.
choose your running back, bro? Or how'd you choose the other cute quarterback?
Yeah,
bro?
exactly. I think it always comes down to character. It always comes down to character. It's not the business skills. The business skills are important, right? Because that's how, as a business, it's able to operate, right? If you have certain strengths, the other person compensates for
Yeah.
their strengths. So that's like a given. That's like first level. But the deeper level, the deeper cut is the strength of that person's character, right? So coming from high integrity, doing what they say they're going to do. You know, when nobody's looking, are they doing the right thing?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so those qualities of high strength of character, you got to make sure they're there in your business partner, because when things don't go well, because in business, things are always challenging. Challenges are opportunities, but then they also measure who's ready to rise for that opportunity and who decides to go back to victim mindset.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
so when you see
Come
that,
on.
they're going to take every opportunity to get what they need. And so again, high strength of character, because when obstacles become a reality, that's where that gets tested.
Right.
Such a great answer.
Yeah.
I love how you tapped into like the deeper level of,
Right.
of that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because I'm always conscious that even though if my partner's not around, I'm protecting his name. And
Exactly.
and vice versa. I need
Exactly.
to know that he's protecting me at the same time.
Exactly.
you know?
I think that's a great point, right?
Yeah.
Like when nobody's looking, do they have my back, right?
Exactly.
Am I thinking of the greater contribution of everyone involved? So that's when I look at deals. And so I'm the first one. If there's a capital call, man, I'm going to put my money in the game, you
Yeah.
know? And so it's that level of character that you need to interview for, test for, start kind of experimenting with. And if you notice, from a character perspective, and that's why it makes sense to like get involved socially and get to really know one another and really, integrate with like understanding that person on an on and off basis, because that's the only way you're going to really find out.
Yeah.
Like if they're cheating on, like, for say their spouse,
Right.
that's,
it's not a good partner.
That's not a great
Right.
sense of character.
Exactly.
Arvin's told me like this great story, and I always like reference, I always share it as well. It's the golf one. Oh, you want to share that story?
Yeah, so there's like a huge contract that's going to be signed amongst partners.
Like
and
$1 billion contract.
Yeah, and the wives take their husbands golfing, the partners golfing, and the wife notices that the guy moves his ball a little, closer, and she tells him, don't partner with him, because if he's willing to cheat in golf, he's willing to cheat in business.
Exactly. See?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then a year later, that guy got busted for all this fraud.
Yeah.
He didn't do the deal because he trusted his wife.
Right.
it.
Exactly.
Over something as small as like a game of golf.
Yeah, but that's how it starts,
It
right? Those
starts.
fragmentation of character can
Yep.
be as simple as moving the ball a centimeter.
Yeah.
But again, those are opportunities where no challenges are available. But when the challenge becomes available, it presents itself, that's where everything gets tested.
Yeah, we've
I love
been through the
that,
mud
man.
together.
We've been through it, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So how'd you meet your partner? Like, what would that look like? What could you offer the viewers as far as like vetting them? I know you mentioned getting involved socially. That's great advice.
Yeah, so the way I've met my business partner and other associates has been, there's been, networking events, socially. That's how I've met a lot of my business partners and associates, is just understanding each other, that we're, we're in the same network, we're meeting the same people. And then there's always like a this sense of wanting to grow, wanting to be the next level, elevating to the next version. And so once you start seeing those qualities that they're running in the same direction as you, then that's what starts to create the sense that like there might be an opportunity here
organically.
Yeah, exactly, because they're looking to grow and they're
Right.
looking to grow and scale and better themselves.
Right.
And so that's how my business partner, we knew each other in the social dancing scene. He went into the real estate space, continued scaling from there. And so again, those are the characters and qualities of someone who wants to better themselves and transform and evolve.
Right.
And so same goes with other associates that I've done projects with. They're always constantly looking for that next challenge, that next obstacle that
Come on
becomes
now.
their opportunity.
Yeah.
Come on now. That's in my head now,
yes,
bro.
exactly. So,
I love that.
So that's what I would, give all the viewers is that your business partner is somebody who's looking to grow and become the next version of themselves. You check out and make sure they're of great character and the strength of their character. And once all those things align, that's when an amazing opportunity is right there in your fingertip.
It's so good. Warren Buffett has this quote. They say it's Warren Buffett, right? But it goes something along the lines of, I'd rather invest in an okay deal with a great operator versus a great deal with someone that doesn't have the character, right? Because someone that doesn't have the character, even though it's a great deal on paper,
Right.
it's going to be horrible.
Gonna ruin it.
Exactly.
I've learned it the hard way. I seen a phenomenal single family deal. I did a private money loan on. The guy character wasn't there, and it's cost me a lot of money to
Right.
learn that lesson.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
and it's going to be inevitable, I think, in business. These are just the things that we as operators and what we can teach others of our lessons. But there's no better way to learn it than going through it yourself, right?
Yeah.
And so hopefully you can minimize the amount of damage as you go through it by listening to all of us. But just like you learned it, I learned it, it's just going to be an inevitable part of transformation.
Right. They say 1 + 1 = 3. Do you feel that? Like, you feel like you could have got this far this quick without a partner? Or do you feel like...
Oh, 100%. I there's no way I could have gotten as far as I've gotten
Yeah.
through partnerships, through a community, through building something collaboratively instead of, by myself.
Yeah. You guys kind of
good.
complement each other, huh?
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I realized, like, I'm like, damn, I'm good at this. I'm like, Eric sucks at this. Like, but then I'm
I
like,
suck at a lot of
but then
things.
I'm like, then I really suck at that. But I'm like, oh, my partner's really good at that.
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
through the years, we're like, oh, dude, we complement each other very, very well. It took a while, and there was like obviously frustrations and stuff like that. But I've realized that we hone in on each other's strengths, and dude, that's when we come. It's like magical. You know what
Correct.
I mean?
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
let's pivot a little bit. So let's say that there's a viewer out there that's like, you know what, I may have something that I may be interested in, right? And they want to partner with you. Is that even a possibility? Like, how does that work? Like, what are you looking for?
Yeah.
What if their grandma left them
Yeah.
like a 12-unit apartment building, bro?
Right.
And they're like, Jaime,
a lot of real estate agents follow us.
Right.
yeah,
So,
what the hell do I do with this? Like,
Yeah, exactly. So there's really 3 main buckets that I put people in based on, at least from a real estate perspective,
Okay.
in terms of how there's an opportunity to grow together. And so the first one is deal flow. So for me, I love scouring new opportunities, scouting new places. And so usually brokers or anybody who has deal flow, we're looking for 20+ unit apartment buildings in the LA area. And so I'm always networking with brokers and people who have those types of deals. And so they constantly hit me up about opportunities. And so that's one bucket, the deal flow side of things, for us to grow together. The second side is the investing side, right? Is if people have capital they want to put to work and not have it sit in their account or diversify their investment portfolio, then they can invest in our deals, right? When the moment an opportunity presents itself, we tie a deal down, we're ready to raise the capital on it, and we start raising capital for it. So it requires relationship building, making sure that we get to know one another. And if it's a mutual good fit in terms of what we're doing and the patience of how their capital is. And then the last bucket we've recently created a mastermind so that we can allow, the way I think of it is, who was I 10 years ago, and how can I give myself the accelerator roadmap to get there? And so for single family operators, wholesalers, anybody who's already had some level of success and they want to elevate to the next level, we have a inner circle mastermind that teaches you how to buy your first apartment building.
I think seats are limited on that, right?
Exactly.
So,
I'm enrolled.
Over the next 12 to 24 months,
I'm on that
the
list.
idea is to buy your first apartment building. And so we've had success stories of several students of ours who've already bought their first 10 plus unit apartment building, and they're already in a position to 2x the amount of value they're creating for not only themselves, but the investors they're bringing along.
Man, so there you have it. You either have a deal, you either have the capital and you're a good partner, or
Right.
you're opening it up to where he's going to guarantee you to buy your first building essentially in his mastermind. How many seats do you have for that?
So we open up a few spots every quarter. Okay. So there's just a handful of spots that we open up every quarter. So
It's a very hands-on workshop, huh?
Yeah, so we do weekly webinars where myself and my business partner, we jump on. You see us teaching and guiding everyone through the process, answering very specific questions, because as much as there's so much content out there, there's never an answer for your unique, special problem that you're dealing with, right? Especially for us in commercial real estate apartment investing, like there's always something. There's this one thing, or I need this one contact. I just need this very specific solution. And because we've gone through a lot of that, we're able to provide that tailored, custom-made solution or answer or critical thinking of how to think about a problem so that you can get to the right answer. So that's the whole point of the mastermind, is to allow over 2 years, get one, confidence that you are able to buy an apartment building. The first part is having a mindset shift that we're going to shift you into becoming a business owner. And so that takes, a couple weeks to get through. But then the second part is all the technical skills to be able to learn the apartment investing space. And finally, it's the execution, right? Talking to the brokers, getting the financing, executing the project, dealing during construction. So all that stuff, we've gone through all that ourselves, right? Yeah. But it's in an accelerated course that allows you to do that in a 2-year time frame.
Man, so I tell a lot of people, like, invest in yourself, right? And so many people are like, man, that's too expensive. Why would I do that? And I'm like, dude, I spent $5,000 for 15 minutes before.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and in that 15 minutes,
Change your life.
Bro, changed my entire life, perspective on life. I've learned so much. Maybe it wasn't 15 minutes. I think it was a little bit more than that. But still, like, you see what I'm saying? But you can avoid so many mistakes and so many hard-learned lessons by just partnering and joining a mastermind or a group like this.
Right.
Because it's like, it's years of experience. And now you get to learn from the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? You get to learn from Jaime himself and his partner. Like, guys, invest in yourself. If you're serious about this, how did it get access to it?
So you can go to my Instagram at the Jaime O. Sanchez. There's a website there, or you can go to our website at elite-equitygroup.com. And there's a link there to learn more about our mastermind.
I freaking love that.
Speaking about what you just said, right? It's cost so much to go into investing yourself, go into this thing. But I don't know where I heard it from. What's more expensive is what you don't know. And so...
Say that again, man.
What's more expensive is the stuff you don't know. And so the things that you don't know are going to cost you a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
Because of all the pitfalls, the mistakes, the hurdles, waiting...
Right.
Yes.
That's going to cost you more than taking action
and
making it happen.
Yeah, take my wallet, swipe the card, let's go.
Yeah.
I want to know everything.
Yeah, as far as an investment standpoint, the best investment you're going to make is in yourself,
right.
First and foremost.
Come on.
But if you think investing is risky, wait till they hand you the bill for not investing.
Correct.
Right? Like, that's what Jim Rohn says.
Jim Rohn
stuff.
Come
on, man. We know Jim Rohn.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, he's the godfather.
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
So I love it, man. One question I had, I'm losing it, but what is like the next 5 years look for you guys? Like, what's the vision of what we're trying to do in your space?
Yeah, so for us, over the next 3 years is to 3x our portfolio. So right now we're at 35, 40 million assets under management, 100 doors. We should be able to 3x that. So 300 plus doors, $100 million assets under management. And then from there, we'll see what the next elevation is there. So that's all like on the commercial real estate side. And so in our investors and our stakeholders and our lender partners, they all grow with us, right?
Yeah.
And so that's one side of things. The other side of things is the mastermind.
Third bucket.
Yeah. The mastermind is, our community is growing. It's to continue to grow. It's been growing organically, but now we get to create a shift from organically within the LA market and expand it nationwide. And you never know. It could even be international, because the same principles in commercial real estate isn't confined to just the U.S. borders.
Right.
There's commercial real estate internationally.
Right.
And so why don't we expand that horizon, internationally at some point? So nationwide, then internationally. So you're going to be seeing a lot more about elite equity.
Hey, get
next
in now.
5 years.
As you train them.
Yeah, exactly.
Get in now before it gets a little too expensive. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
No, and that reminds me what I was gonna bring up. Something that we've been very fortunate with our, the guests that we've had on. Something I see so common is they're willing to get in the right rooms, whether it's paying to get in the right rooms, putting sweat equity to learn. It's super common with people that are super successful like yourself, is put yourself in the right rooms, regardless of whatever it takes, whatever dollar amount, because it's going to cost you more later on. So
exactly. No, that's a great point. And I think one of the big qualities of leadership is something that I'm discovering for myself is, one, yes, there's this transformation, evolution of my trajectory, but the ultimate test of your leadership is, can you create other leaders? And so by creating other leaders, it means being able to take people who were you were in their shoes 10 years ago or whatever it was, and elevate them to your level, because that's how you create change and transformation everywhere in the world, is by creating other leaders.
We always say leaders are leaders who create leaders.
Yes,
right. And they always forget the last part, right? That create leaders.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It just keeps going.
Exactly. And so that's the litmus test of how effective my leadership is am I able to create other leaders who are able to implement the things that I know how to do, they do it themselves, and then there's a ripple effect that begins to transform our communities.
I freaking love that. Man, let me ask you, is the family involved, like brothers? Are they involved in the business as well, or are they just like, hell nah?
We're involved because we have a special project. I've been leaving one of my last projects for last. So we've done a lot of ground up development here in LA as well. One of them is my parents' home. And so I had that project permit ready for years.
Really?
But I get to dust off the plans again. And not sure if it's this year or next year. The idea is to build that very luxury 5-unit project in Echo Park, where I once grew up. When back to the beginning of this
Come
podcast,
on now. Come on now.
I graduated, came back
such a
home,
great
the
question.
homecoming. And so now we get to create this amazing project. It's a family legacy project within my parents, my brothers, and for future generations to come. So
It's a family compound,
Legacy.
yeah,
man.
exactly. Legacy.
That's why you're my co-host, man. That's a good question.
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
You like that question?
I like that.
Yeah, I'm trying
So
to
that's
tell
the
you,
legacy
man.
right
The
there.
legacy.
Hey,
Yes.
when
We
an
speak on that.
obstacle becomes an opportunity, you know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
exactly.
Man, this has been fun.
Yeah, it's
Man,
been
Jaime,
great.
thank you so much. Of
course.
We're going to kind of wind it down. Eric, ask them
let's
to...
take us into our next segment. Before we do, speaking to someone that's watching this right now, no matter where they're at, whether they're already investing, single family, what advice would you offer somebody, whether they're looking to get in the space or just looking to double down on what they're looking, what they're passionate about?
Yeah, exactly. So I'd say the biggest thing is always start with where you're at. Everybody's always at a different level of the growth stages of life, whether it's personal or professional. And so for me, comparing myself to where I was 10 years ago, you're talking about two different people.
Yeah.
And so, where I'll be in 5 years, 10 years, I'll be a completely different person then as well. So I think the biggest thing is taking your experiences, your skills, your knowledge, your network, and seeing how those push you forward now in what you could do now, right? What can you do now? Because that's all we can control.
Just take that first step.
Take that first step in terms of what you can do now.
So good.
Not what you can do a year from now, or I could do even a week from now, but what can I do now to take me to the next level, right? And so everybody already comes with unique gifts, talents, and social circles to be able to do something great in this world. And so take an inventory of what that is and start there.
Yeah.
Because then the next step becomes available to you once you've started that self-assessment and make the next move.
Just like how you started. You're always looking to bring value to the marketplace. It don't matter if you're starting off by mowing lawns.
Correct.
Bring that value to the marketplace and
Exactly.
hey, man, you'll be at 100 doors soon.
Exactly. See?
I love it, brother. We always like to ask our guests, who is in your top 5 real estate Hall of Fame?
Let's see here. I'd say number 1, and I've met him before, is Rick Caruso. Rick Caruso. I've always
Love him.
loved what he's done in terms of his upbringing and what he's created in the commercial real estate space, especially here in LA, as challenging as it is. And then also being someone who is creating change, but then helping other leaders become leaders, right? I think that's number 1 right there. So
What was the mall he created?
the Grove and the
Grove, I
Americana,
could get it,
and then he's got other projects throughout Southern California. So
The GOAT.
I've always had a great level of admiration for him. There's just other people within the space that I've seen over time that I've always admired too. People like Jerome Maldonado. I've been to his conference. There's another mentor, Hector Padilla, who kind of taught me a little bit of the mindset in the apartment investing space.
All goats.
Trying to think, Ken McElroy. Not Ken McElroy. Is it Ken McElroy, I think? The apartment investor. So is it Kenny McElroy? We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I know Rory. I know Rory McIlroy.
I got
Rock,
invited
please.
once to the Bahamas to talk about, our short-term rental strategies, and there was a room of people who were like millionaires buying apartment buildings already. So
Putting yourself
for
in
me,
the right rooms.
again, it was like, man, it felt very uncomfortable being there. But again, seeing people like that makes me excited about, the growth I get to go through for me to get there. And if I were to round out the last one, the 5th one, man, it's so tough, man. So tough.
It's a lot of them.
You gotta. That's a tough question.
Yeah. We gotta prep you for that one. But
man,
hey,
exactly.
Oh.
So
whatever comes off the top of the
Jorge
dome.
go beat you up. You don't put him on there, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, man. Help me out, man. Help me out. Jorge in my business partner. Yes, exactly. So there you go.
Hey, come on.
Exactly.
Shout out to your business partner, Jorge.
Yeah,
man.
let's do it.
I love
Phenomenal. I love it, bro.
that. I love that. How do people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at the Jaime O Sanchez. You can find me on TikTok, same thing, at the Jaime O Sanchez. Find me on my website at www.elite-equitygroup.com. And so I'm always posting whatever's going on in terms of our projects and what we got going on with the mastermind or mastery of leadership in general.
Come
So,
on now.
Oh.
What an incredible podcast.
Incredible.
Jaime, thank you so much, man. I've learned so much, honestly. That's why I do this, just so I could learn, man.
Yes.
That is
Love
episode 7, man. If you enjoyed this podcast and podcasts just like this, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Real Estate Sports, where we're bringing you all the big players in this game, man.
From everything from mindset to tactics and what's working and how you could get involved now with that first step. Shoot us a follow and we'll be airing out episode number 8. Very excited about episode number 8. That'll be brought to you next week. We'll be dropping these every single week. On episode number 8, we're actually get to interview one of our partners, Sonny Narang, running one of the number 1 teams across the nation on the real estate residential side, and also they do sell commercial as well. So phenomenal partner and great operator. So stay tuned for that.
Let's go, baby.
Come on.
Real Estate Sports,
Bro.
RE Sports. It's in the
It's in the
game, baby.
game.